3 years ago, I was that gardener who'd rush out to the garden only when something went wrong. My tomatoes would be drooping, my lettuce bolting, and my herbs looking sad and neglected. I'd spend weekends frantically trying to fix problems that could have been prevented with just a few minutes of daily attention. Then everything changed when I discovered the power of consistent daily routines. What started as a desperate attempt to save my failing garden transformed into the most rewarding part of my day. These 6 simple routines didn't just improve my harvest, they revolutionized my entire relationship with gardening. The best part? Each routine takes less than 10 minutes, but the compound effect over a growing season is absolutely remarkable. The morning walk through your garden's daily health check. Every morning, coffee in hand, I take what I call my garden reconnaissance mission. This isn't just a casual stroll, it's a systematic observation that has become my secret weapon for preventing problems before they spiral out of control. During this walk, I'm looking for 3 critical things: changes in plant color, unusual wilting patterns, and signs of pest activity. Yesterday's healthy cucumber vine might show the first yellow spots of downy mildew today. That pepper plant that looked fine last week might be showing the subtle leaf curl that indicates aphid pressure is building. The magic happens in the details you notice when you see your plants daily. I've caught spider mite infestations when they were just a few tiny webs on one leaf, preventing them from spreading to entire plants. I've spotted the early signs of blight on tomatoes and removed affected leaves before the disease could take hold. This daily familiarity with your garden's normal state makes you incredibly sensitive to changes that weekend gardeners often miss until it's too late. What makes this routine truly powerful is consistency. Your eyes become trained to spot problems at their earliest stages, when intervention is simple and effective. A small diseased leaf removed today saves you from losing an entire plant next week. Strategic watering beyond the basic sprinkle. Most gardeners water their plants, but few truly understand the art of strategic watering. This routine completely transformed my plant health and dramatically reduced my water usage while actually improving yields. The key insight that changed everything for me was understanding that plants need water consistency, not just water volume. I learned to read soil moisture at different depths by simply pushing my finger into the soil around each plant. Surface dry doesn't always mean the plant needs water. Sometimes the soil is perfectly moist just 2 inches down. I now water based on each plant's specific needs and growth stage. Seedlings get light, frequent watering to keep their shallow roots consistently moist. Mature tomatoes get deep, less frequent watering to encourage deep root development. Leafy greens need steady moisture to prevent bolting, while peppers can handle slightly drier conditions that actually concentrate their flavors. The timing matters enormously too. I water in the early morning, giving plants time to absorb moisture before the heat of the day while ensuring leaves dry quickly to prevent fungal diseases. This routine alone reduced my plant disease problems by about 70% compared to my old evening watering habit. The daily harvest's small and often beats big and seldom. This routine shift created the biggest transformation in my garden's productivity. Instead of harvesting once or twice a week, I now harvest something every single day, even if it's just a few leaves or a single tomato. Daily harvesting keeps plants in peak production mode. When you leave mature vegetables on the plant thinks its job is done and slows down production. But when you consistently harvest, you're sending the message that the plant needs to keep producing. My zucchini plants now produce consistently all season instead of the typical early abundance followed by decline. The quality improvement is remarkable too. Vegetables harvested at their peak ripeness taste completely different from those left on the plant too long. I now get to enjoy my lettuce at that perfect sweet spot before it becomes bitter, my beans when they're tender and snap easily, and my herbs when their essential oils are most concentrated. This routine also forced me to learn the optimal harvest timing for each crop. I discovered that basil leaves are most flavorful when harvested in the morning after the dew has dried but before the heat of the day. Tomatoes have the best flavor when harvested with just a hint of green and allowed to finish ripening on the counter. Pruning and deadheading, it's really the 5-minute transformation. Every day I spend just 5 minutes doing targeted pruning and deadheading throughout the garden. This simple routine has dramatically improved both plant health and appearance, while also extending the productive season of many crops. Deadheading flowers might seem like purely aesthetic maintenance, but honestly, it's actually a powerful tool for extending harvest seasons. When I consistently remove spent flowers from my nasturtiums, calendulas, and marigolds, they bloom continuously instead of going to seed. This, in turn, extends their pest-fighting benefits throughout the growing season. For vegetable plants, strategic pruning makes an enormous difference. I remove suckers from tomato plants to focus energy on fruit production. I pinch back the growing tips of basil to encourage bushier growth and prevent flowering. I trim the outer leaves of lettuce and spinach to encourage continued growth from the center. The key insight here is that small, frequent interventions are far more effective than major pruning sessions. Just a few minutes of daily attention prevents the need for dramatic cutting back that can stress plants and reduce yields. Pest monitoring is really the early warning system for any garden. Daily pest monitoring has become my most valuable routine for maintaining a healthy garden ecosystem. This isn't about intensive spraying or aggressive intervention. It's about understanding the natural balance and knowing when and how to intervene effectively. Over time, I've learned to identify beneficial insects and distinguish them from pests. For example, those small brown beetles I used to worry about are actually ground beetles that eat harmful pest eggs. And those tiny wasps hovering around my plants? They're parasitoids that keep aphid populations in check. Understanding these relationships has made me a much more effective gardener. When I do spot pest problems, daily monitoring means I catch them at manageable levels. A small cluster of aphids can be easily removed by hand or washed off with water. But, left unchecked for a week, that same cluster becomes a major infestation requiring more intensive treatment. I keep a small notebook where I track pest observations and interventions. This has helped me identify patterns, like the fact that aphids always appear on my kale in the third week of June, or that cucumber beetles show up exactly when the soil temperature reaches 70 degrees. This knowledge lets me be proactive instead of reactive. Evening maintenance is really about setting tomorrow's success. My evening routine is all about positioning the garden for success the next day. This quiet time in the garden has become a meditative practice that helps me unwind while taking care of small tasks that make a big difference. I collect tools and return them to their proper places, ensuring I'm not wasting time searching for equipment during busy morning or weekend gardening sessions. I check that irrigation systems are functioning properly, and make any necessary adjustments for the next day's weather. This is also when I do light weeding around newly planted areas. Weeds are so much easier to pull when they're small, and daily attention means I never face overwhelming weed problems. I found that 5 minutes of daily weeding is far more effective than spending hours pulling established weeds on weekends. Evening is perfect for planning tomorrow's garden tasks. I note which beds need attention, which plants need support, and what seeds might be ready for planting. This planning routine ensures that I use my garden time efficiently and never miss optimal planting or harvesting windows. The compound effect. Why consistency trumps intensity. These 6 routines work together to create what I call the compound effect in gardening. Each routine builds upon the others, creating a garden ecosystem that's more resilient, productive, and enjoyable to maintain. The daily walkthrough informs my watering decisions. Strategic watering supports healthy plants that are easier to harvest. Regular harvesting keeps plants productive and makes pest monitoring more effective. The transformation in my garden's health and productivity has been remarkable, but honestly, the personal benefits have been equally significant. These routines have connected me more deeply with my garden and taught me to observe and appreciate the subtle daily changes that make gardening so rewarding. Remember, the goal isn't perfection, it's consistency. Start with 1 or 2 routines that appeal to you most, and gradually build your daily practice. Your garden will reward your attention with healthier plants, better harvests, and the deep satisfaction that comes from truly understanding and caring for your growing space. Ready to transform your own garden with these daily routines? Subscribe to Soil Sage Chronicles for more practical gardening wisdom, and share this article with fellow gardeners who are ready to take their harvest to the next level. What daily routine has made the biggest difference in your garden? I'd love to hear your experiences in the comments below.